Hello friends and welcome. I love what I heard someone say recently. She said, noses are like annoying relatives. Everyone has them. But many of us aren't thrilled with the nose that we see when we look in the mirror. Our nose is such a prominent feature that if we're unhappy with ours, it can really affect how we feel about our looks. But one of the fun and wonderful things about makeup is that we can emphasize the features that we love and we can de-emphasize the features that aren't our favorite features. And since I've heard from many of you that your noses aren't at the top of your list of your favorite features, today we're going to be focusing on 3 of the easiest ways we can transform our nose to make it look slimmer. I'll demonstrate one technique to slim the nose using powder, which will work best for those of us with oily skin, although powder can certainly be used by all of us no matter what our skin type. And the 2 other ways to slim the nose that I'll be demonstrating involve using cream products. If you're new to this channel, I am so glad you decided to stop by today. My name is Elise and I'm a makeup artist whose passion is helping those of us who are in our 5th decade or beyond to look like the very best version of ourselves so we can look and feel our confident best. So we cover makeup tips and techniques that work for us now and also sometimes have some fun with fashion and wellness tips. And by the way, I do have a quick wellness tip that I want to share with you at the end of this video, which has been very helpful for me, and I hope it might also be helpful for you. So if this channel's focus sounds like something that's a fit for you, I hope you'll join our really wonderful family of subscribers before you leave today. All 3 of the easiest nose slimming techniques that I'll be talking about, as well as demonstrating today, involve contouring. Now, contouring boils down to using makeup which is lighter or darker than our skin tone to change or enhance the dimensions of our face. It can be used to make our cheekbones look higher and more prominent, our lips look fuller, and our nose look smaller. Using lighter and darker makeup products creates highlights and shadows, and it's these highlights and shadows that allow us to emphasize or de-emphasize certain features. Now, I know just the mention of the word contouring can be a bit intimidating for some of us. It sounds like it could be complicated or perhaps harsh looking, as well as time consuming, and frankly, just not something that we'd be comfortable incorporating into our regular makeup routine. But the techniques we'll be using today create a softer and more natural looking sculpted nose. And I think you'll find that these 3 techniques are pretty darn quick and easy to do. All of the techniques that I'll be sharing with you today are done after we've prepped our skin and applied either tinted moisturizer, BB cream, CC cream, or foundation. And the 4 things that are absolutely essential in making contouring easier are the right products, the right formula of products, the right color of products, and the right tools. And of course, blending well is the key to these looks, as it is to most of our other makeup looks as well. For each of the 3 nose slimming techniques I'll be demonstrating, I'll talk about the products that I've chosen, the colors I'm using, which should be 2 to 3 shades darker or lighter than our skin tone, the formula of the product, and the tools that really work well. And you'll find links to all of these products and tools in the description box below, which you can easily access by tapping on the word more under the video. And in fact, you'll also find a link to all of my favorite skincare and makeup products and other fun favorites as well. Before I demonstrate the first technique, I think it will be helpful to quickly run through some terms that I'll be using. The bridge of the nose is the area you'll see inside these 2 pencils that I'm going to hold up. We'll apply the dark contour in 2 parallel lines straight down the bridge of the nose, from the eyebrows to just above the tip of the nose. And how close together these 2 parallel lines are will determine how slim our nose looks. The closer the 2 parallel lines are to each other, the slimmer our nose will look. Let me demonstrate with these 2 pencils again. If we want our nose to look quite slim, we'd put the parallel lines like this. If we don't want our nose to look quite as slim, we'd move the lines further apart. Now, our natural tendency is to make those 2 parallel lines wider as we go toward the nostrils, like this. But we don't want those parallel lines to get any wider. We want to keep the two lines parallel to each other all the way down toward the tip of the nose. We'll also be referring to the sides of the bridge of the nose because we'll be feathering down the dark contour shade onto this area. And of course, this is the tip of the nose, and these are the two nostrils. Let's first go ahead and talk about using powder to slim our nose. Since I am wearing Wet n Wild's Photo Focus Matte Foundation, which is a liquid foundation, my first step in the contouring process is going to be powdering my nose. I'm going to apply powder first because a powder contour goes on easiest and adheres the best to other powder products. I'll be applying my Maybelline Lasting Fix Banana Translucent Loose Setting Powder all over my nose. The dark contour powder product that I'm going to be using today is a longtime cult classic bronzing powder, which many of you may already have. It's Benefit's Hoola Bronzer, and I have this mini size in the original shade. This bronzer also comes in shades called Light, Light Caramel, and Toasted, which is the darkest shade. Now, although this product is a little warmer in tone than I would normally use, it does have a wonderfully soft and blendable formula, which is why I chose to use it today. If you have a neutral or a warm skin undertone, this will probably be a better shade for you than it is for me. The tool that I'm going to use is this small brush. This is a very old Clinique brush, which unfortunately is no longer available. But any brush that is fairly thin and has fairly soft bristles will do. And it doesn't have to be angled like this one is. I'm going to dip just the tip of this brush, not the sides, into the powder a couple of times, and then tap off the excess onto the back of my hand. And where I apply it is very important. I'm going to start next to my brows and create two parallel lines going straight down my nose. Now I do angle it in a little bit right at my brow area, and I'm trying to make these a little bit straighter. And I'm going to feather it out up toward my brows. And I can make my nose look a little bit shorter if I put a small bit of bronzer here. And I can make the tip of my nose look slimmer by applying the bronzer in a wide V shape. And the closer in I angle it, the slimmer it's going to look. And if I want to slim down my nostrils, I can apply the bronzer along the very outside edge of the nostril and then go in toward the tip of the nose. I'm going to go right at the edge of the nostril. The next step is to diffuse the two parallel lines a bit and then feather the bronzer a short way down the sides of the bridge of the nose, because we certainly don't want to have these two lines looking like this. So now you can either do this with your fingertip or you can do it with a brush. I'll do both. And I'm going to use this brush, which has nothing on it, to feather it down. It's Eve Pearl's 201 brush. Next, I want to take a lighter color to highlight just the very middle of the bridge of my nose, which will also help it look slimmer. I'm going to do this with my Laura Geller Baked French Vanilla color. The French Vanilla color is the lighter color on the left. And I'm going to use this pencil brush, which is very thin, just to go down the center of my nose. Now, some people like to add a bit of highlighter on the middle of the nose and right on the tip of the nose, but it's just not my personal preference to do so. And the final step is to apply powder to make the contouring look more natural. Now this color is just too warm and red for my skin tone, but I think at least you get a sense of what the process is. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove this contouring off camera, reapply foundation, and I'll be right back to demonstrate the second nose slimming technique using a cream product. For the second technique, I'll be using a newer stick contour product from Rare Beauty. It's their Effortless Bronzer Stick in the shade Happy Soul, which is a light brown color with cool undertones. I've chosen this particular product because of the amazingly easy to apply formula. As the name says, it is effortless because it glides on so very easily. And because I'm applying a cream stick contour formula over a liquid foundation, I don't need to powder before applying the cream contour. As I did with the first technique I demonstrated, I'm going to draw 2 parallel lines straight down along the bridge of my nose, and I'll also slim the tip of my nose. In this instance, as you see, I'm going to make my nose look a little bit thinner than it did the first time around. For this next step, you can either use a brush or your fingers, but I like to just gently diffuse the color with my fingers and also take the color down the sides of my nose. And I'm also going to make the tip of my nose look a little thinner. Then I'm going to take the foundation brush that I used to apply my foundation and gently pat it along the sides of my nose to make the contouring look more natural. And the last step is to add a light cream contour along the very middle of the nose. I'm using this product from Cover FX, which unfortunately is no longer available. And I'm going to go right down the middle of my nose. And if you didn't get the dark contouring lines exactly parallel, this is a way you can straighten it all out. As you can see, that made the contouring look a lot more natural. And obviously, if you wanted to make the contouring more pronounced, you could simply go back in and add a second layer of the bronzer stick. Now, once again, I'm going to remove the makeup I used to create this second technique, reapply my foundation, and be right back. This last technique is the one that I regularly use because I find it to be the quickest and easiest for me. And I think you'll also see that I'm a lot more comfortable with this technique. I'll once again be using a cream contour, but this time it's my favorite cream contour because of the color and the formula. It's Huda Beauty's Tantour Contour in the shade Light. There's a fair shade for fair to light skin tones, a medium shade for medium to tan skin tones, and a rich shade for deep to rich skin tones. And the tool that I'll be using is also my very favorite tool for contouring. It's also from Huda Beauty, and it's a brush specifically designed for contouring because there's a small tip at one end, which works wonderfully to contour the nose, and a larger blending brush at the other end to blend out forehead, cheekbone, and jaw contouring. I'm going to dip just the tip of the small end of the brush into the Huda Beauty Tantour Cream Contour a couple of times and then take some off on the back of my hand so I have a little bit less product to apply. Now I'm going to apply it in 2 parallel lines down the bridge of my nose and create the open V shape at the tip of my nose to make the tip of my nose look smaller. And you don't have to worry if it's not perfect because we're going to go in with the lighter cream contour and powder and everything will look fine in the end. So I'm going to go ahead and take my foundation brush and I'm just going to lightly go over the edges of the contouring. And I think you can see that that really softens it out and makes it look more natural. And for some reason, I have a streak of redness on my nose here, which doesn't seem to get covered up by my foundation. And now I'm taking the lighter cream shade and I'm going down the center of my nose. And to make my nose look a little bit shorter, I'm going to put a little bit of the darker contour on the tip. As you can see, I like a very light contoured look. Now, you may prefer to go a little bit darker or heavier with your contour. It's whatever you're comfortable with. And actually, for evening events or any kind of special occasions, I will go a little bit heavier with my contouring. So these are the 3 methods I've found to be the easiest ways to slim the nose. I hope you found these tips helpful today, and if so, please click on that thumbs up icon. And in the comments section below, I hope you'll share any favorite products you use for contouring. And before we close today, I'd like to share the quick wellness tip that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. It's actually a quick and easy way to relax our bodies so we can more easily fall asleep. It's called the 4-7-8 technique, and it involves breathing in for 4 counts, holding the breath for 7 counts, and then breathing out for 8 counts. It's known as the relaxing breath, and it has roots in ancient yoga practice, but has been popularized by integrative medicine specialist Dr. Andrew Weil. Let's go ahead and try it together. Breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 7, and then breathe out for 8. As you can tell, if you try this technique, as we breathe in, we generate more energy, but if we breathe out, our body relaxes. I look forward to seeing you again next Thursday and hope you have a happy, healthy week ahead and a fabulous rest of your day. Take care.